Story starts before I was even born. When my mom was recently married, she lived in an apartment with my dad on the third floor, which was the top floor of the small building. But besides their bedroom, there's also a room for my half siblings, my dad's children, for when they came to visit him. They had some toys and stuff there. When my dad went off to work, my mom would be alone in the apartment doing chores and stuff. Except for that, she sometimes could hear someone playing with marbles on what would be a floor up. But as I said earlier, there wasn't any more floors, and there wasn't an attic or anything like that. Another time, she would hear loud running in the apartment, and when she went to see, she would find my siblings' toys all spread on the floor of their room. Or when she was listening to the radio, someone or something would change the station she was listening to. It's not like the signal was lost for a second. The thingy you rotated to change the station was literally moved. Another thing that happened is that my parents' bedroom door had a small hole, and sometimes at night she could see an eye looking through it. And when she went to the bathroom at night, sometimes she would see standing figures on my siblings' room, like a small figure, a little boy, with what seemed like blonde hair and a red sweater. Pause, hold it right there. I don't know what fucking movie it is, but there's a movie when the guy goes up to the door and he goes to look through the peephole and then someone stabs him through the peephole. That movie is what I think about every single time I think about someone looking through like a keyhole or looking through a peephole. That's literally the movie that plays in my mind. Catch me asking who's there like I'm in a fucking horror movie before I look through one of those things. Secondarily, there's kids involved in this. Ghost children. And what do we say about that? What do we think about that? Ghost kids are creepier than shit. Yes, they are. At this point, I think that anyone would be terrified, but my mom wasn't that scared. Brave Latin woman. She knew it was a child playing and that the spirit presence didn't feel evil or anything. At most, he was kind of mischievous, so she let it be for some time. But one day, she felt curious about everything that was happening, so in a very Hollywood movie style, she went to investigate. She went to ask the doorman of the building complex about it, and he told her that she should go ask the neighbors in the other building of the complex that also lived on the third floor because they used to live in the apartment where my parents were living now, and they asked to be moved to another apartment. So our girl went to talk to them. I know that's right. And they told her that they also heard and saw the little boy, but they got tired and spooked, so they changed the apartments. Knowing more of the story, she asked a friend who knew a lot about spirits and the paranormal stuff what maybe she could do to get rid of him because she was also getting tired and a little spooked. Besides that, she got pregnant and she didn't want the boy to get jealous, maybe harm me in any way. And her friend gave her two choices. The safe one implied a lot of work that my mom didn't want to do, cleaning the house, energy, putting some herbs and salt around the house, the works. But my mom wasn't a big fan of that witch stuff, so she obviously chose the more dangerous option. Insert eye roll emoji here, so very, very upset about that. Her friend told her that if it was a good spirit, he would go or leave them alone if my mom screamed at him, cursing and being really mean. Of course, if it was actually an evil spirit in disguise, that would be worse, and she would risk putting herself and her family in danger, unleashing the evil. One night she was watching TV with my dad in their room, and she saw the eye looking through the hole. She decided it was him and started screaming at him, saying all of the curse words she could think of and demanding that the child leave her alone. My dad was in shock since they didn't talk with bad words, and for a good second he had no idea why my mom started screaming at nothing. But from then on, the spirit left her alone, luckily. No more mischief with the radio or my siblings' toys, no more marbles on the ceiling, nothing, until I was born. When I had like 2 or 3 years old, my mom started to hear me talk to someone, and I told her I had an imaginary friend who came to play with me sometimes. She had the idea to ask me how my friend looked like, and I told her it was a little boy, blonde, with a red sweater. My mom got so spooked, but soon after that, we had to move somewhere else, so she thought that was it. But one day, years after that, we were on a different city, and everything. She saw him again, standing behind a door at night. She told him to fuck off, rolled over, and kept sleeping. I forgot to say that you can modify the story to fit the way you want to tell it, and also that yesterday I actually asked my mom about it, and she told me that the boy also tapped her arm at night to wake her up. Firstly, OP, thank you so much for sending this in. Secondly, if you're watching this on the YT, they do not have permission to utilize my content. Please report it and or let me know. You can find my content, Spooky Scary Ghost Stories, on all platforms. Look for me there and let me know. Please report this video if it isn't a compilation video on YT. Now, other than the comments that I've already left in regards to this creepy little fucking kid and the peephole situation, I think that whatever this is was attached to you as a baby. Is that weird? Like, I don't know, I feel like it was waiting for someone to be pregnant. I know that it's attached to the building, obviously, because the previous tenants were like, okay, this is getting a little fucking weird. We don't like it. But at the end of the day, it really latched onto you guys. And I think that it was just maybe like looking for a friend. A lot of people say, and they'll say it until they're blue in the fucking face to me, they will say that seeing a child is just an evil energy disguised as a child. I don't believe that to be consistently true as much as everyone else does, and it's totally fine. You can believe whatever you want, but I do believe that there are ghost children. The reason why is because if children are so innocent, which I believe them to be, then why wouldn't there be the capability of a child to become a ghost and want to stay innocently in this world? It just makes sense to me to have that. So I do believe that maybe this little boy just kind of wanted a friend to hang out with or like talk to or something. I do think the age that you were at was a little early to be having an imaginary friend. I know that usually it happens from anywhere. This is just from when I was in school, so it could have changed because science is forever evolving. But I believe back then it was anywhere from like 3 to 6 years old is when like an imaginary friend is usually developed. But like I said, it could have changed. Either way, this was a fabulous story. A lot of people tell me that I can modify their stories, but that's not something that I'm willing to do. I don't want to modify the story. The whole point is to tell it from your perspective and your point of view. And I think that everyone having different writing styles is what really makes this unique about our page together, is that each person writes a specific way, each person reads a specific way, each person gives different types of details, and I think that's what makes it really interesting at the end of the day. You're not just hearing it from how I'm perceiving it, you're hearing it straight from the person that experienced it, and I think that is special. And I love you guys. I hope you have a great stinking freaking day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!